tomorrow. I think deadline is tomorrow for choosing the courses. So I think some students are still choosing anyway. So, but for today, I think we can just split into, yeah, we can put yourself into three in one group. So, and then for the projects, you'll do based on groups. Yeah. Who won here last week? Who won here last week? Who were here? Who wasn't? Who wasn't? Who wasn't? Right, three. We got three. Okay. Four. Yeah, who's here? You were here. I remember you. So I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Philip, and we've got Kelly here. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's better, yeah, if you can kind of blend a bit to people from other countries. That's ideal. Yeah. Because this course is called cultural integration. You know, it's like we have to blend you into different groups. So give you a bit of time to negotiate. Yeah. So also for local students, we've got three locals here. You can choose. We've got Hong Kong and Taiwan, Malaysian. Yeah, we have three. Yeah.
You know each other in the same group? No.
It's been 1 week.
So how's your week? Anyway, how's your week? Good? Still getting used to it? Yeah, new environment, I know. Now you rang my bell when I was about your age. I was in UK trying to stay alive. Oh, no. And then we'll pass the paper for you to fill in groups, right? Yeah. You passing? No? 6 groups, yeah. So we expect 6 groups. V3, I think. Let me check. Yeah, B.
We were joined online. You can call us on Teams.
And who is not in the line group yet? Okay, so can I scan or?
This week still a bit of like a warming week as well because still a lot of kind of courses shopping going on. And then there's a long holiday from this week as well. Yeah, so probably formally the course begins next week, I would say. So today is going to be an easy chat time. That's the Disney version of me.
Okay, so two things. One is that we will be sure of your group number, and so as we mentioned, this will be group one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, of course, when you do the sharing and presentation, it doesn't necessarily starting from the first group. Okay, you might start from the topic that you will be interested. And then the second thing is that please be sure you join the line group so that any information you are, without any kind of, if you can remember, okay, we can still come back to the line group to double check some of the assignments. Okay.
That's for your information. If you go to hospitals in Taiwan or Chinese, you rarely see number 4, floor 4. You know why? You know why? Because 4 in Chinese, 10 is 10. So in hospitals, means very unlucky. So they just don't put 4. That's for your like kind of local knowledge. Yeah. So normally people don't choose 4 anyway, but it's okay. And which number means luck in Chinese? 8. Yeah, 8. Ba means you get rich. Yeah. So 4 means 10. 8 means luck. Yeah.
So we leave the class to you, all right? Should I see you guys next week?
Right. Okay. The system is very unstable. Yeah, it's okay. The system is very unstable. Right. So you rarely see me in this class. I think I'll be in charge for today. Let me quickly introduce myself to the people who weren't here last week. You can call me Philip. I'm the Dean for International Office. I'm teaching at Mass Communication Department. I used to live in London for 17 years. 10 years ago, I moved back because parents get old, so I want to see them more often. So I decided to come back and work. So I directly come to teach at Providence University. So you can go and visit. I'm also in charge of all the internationalization thing business at Providence University. So I normally have to fly everywhere to recruit students, to push for the exchange opportunities between your universities and our universities. That's what I do. So my pleasure to meet you all. My pleasure to meet you all. So for today, it's going to be very simple. I think I'll give you a bit of knowledge about Taiwan, especially to know a bit of political situations as well. I think some of you, I don't know, any of you come from kind of political science or social science? No? Okay, what business? It can be case sensitive because talking about politics, if you are a bit of pro-China, or you're against China, sometimes it can be case sensitive. But I'll try to keep it neutral. Yeah, because for people like me, kind of running about in the kind of international environment, we have to remain neutral, try to get ourselves engaged to kind of political affairs too much, but I'll give you a bit of knowledge so you know what happened in Taiwan. My own research, my feedback in UK is about gaming. So I write about video games, I research about video games development. And video games is very much, communication is all about, also to do with some political development as well. So yeah, I think I can give you, today I'll just give you about the political situation in Taiwan and a bit of history about Taiwan. And then we'll leave you for some discussions. So it won't be hours long, I think. We'll keep it short as a warm-up this week. Okay? Right. Now stable. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So just to give you a bit of history about Taiwan. I don't know, what's your impression about Taiwan now? What's your impression about Taiwan now? Wait. It's not projected.
so cold.
Cold, really? Cold. Yeah, it can be. It's humid. It's humid. Yeah, it's very humid. Yeah. The good thing is you won't get hay fever. I used to live in UK, it's very dry, and then you get hay fever nowadays. But in Taiwan, you won't because it's humid. So the pollens get wiped away, you know. Okay. And what's your impression about Taiwan now so far? Nice. Nice about what? Food. Food is nice. So gaining weight is normally happens to our foreign students here, you know, because they keep eating a lot of rice, noodles.
We like shit in the streets. Shit in the streets.
What's that? Shitun district. Oh, the Shitun district. I think it sounds awkward. Anyway, Shitun, yeah, it's the area, Shitun, yeah. So because in Taichung you have north, south, west, and east, very clear. Kind of cross. Look at you, that's funny. Shitun district, yes, good. We are not far from the central. Yeah? You've been to central. You see the department store explosion.
Yeah, we saw it.
Crazy. It was crazy. I was totally shocked. Yeah. I think this kind of public safety issue is always big in Taiwan. I don't know, somehow, I don't know from the locals' perspective, the kind of public safety issue is normally forgotten, you know, by the government. So they are under pressure all the time. Yeah. If you look at Japan or look at Germany, I think the kind of public safety normally are well prepared. So in Taiwan, please watch yourself. You know, a lot of public transportation problems all the time. Okay, so to give you a bit of history, like last week I mentioned about this. Where's the mention about the here Chinese blood, yeah. So because the first government actually migrated to Taiwan a long time ago, about 100 years ago, from China. So that's the first kind of formal government. They migrated to Taiwan because they lost the war to Communist Party about 120 years ago. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so that's why we speak Mandarin, and then we have Chinese blood, and then there are the time between 1895 to 1945. Taiwan was colonized by Japan Empire for 50 years. So to the grandparents' generations, they can actually speak Japanese fluently. So as you can see, you can kind of sense a bit of kind of Japanese culture embedded in somewhere in Taiwan. And some of our local, not Mandarin, Taiwanese language, we also speak a bit of kind of Japanese in the Taiwanese local mother tongue language. Like we say sleepers, we say sleeper, it's like Japanese. It's not really Taiwanese language, but it's kind of in our language now. So, so that's why we say the system. When the time Japan Empire kind of governed Taiwan, they kind of bring in the banking system. So if you go to Taichung Central, the middle part, you can see the building is very square. It was actually designed at the time. You can get to see a lot of old buildings left from that time, that period. So it's very square, very square. It's an old town area. And they have a lot of tourist information provided for foreigners today. So during weekends, we are all free to go and to find some day. I think they have a bunch of people. They will kind of guide you, professional guidance, to show you the old town. Okay, so that's the time when Taiwan was governed by Japan back in the days. And the older Actually, you know what happened is that in Taiwan we have a crisis in low birth rate issue. So in 4 years' time, because the younger parents don't want to have kids. I don't know how about Europe. Same, right? Same. So universities are closing down because no kids. And that's why I think that's why we now introduce more kind of foreign immigrants to come, and then they all very much settle. During weekends, if you go to the Midtown, the all kind of Japan design area in Taichung, you will see a lot of Southeast Asian migrant workers in that area. You don't feel Taiwan, you feel like you're in Southeast Asia because the shops are actually all kind of Southeast Asian hemisphere. Okay, and like our university, the language college, we have English, Japanese, and Spanish. But because of the low birth rate issue, the Spanish and English literature departments are facing crisis, but the Japanese department are very settled. Because I think it's because the older generation, they have built up these old ties with Japan. So still a lot of new generations, they want to learn Japanese. But of course, Korean as well. Yeah, Korean because of K-pop. Yeah, I also follow New Jeans and everything. So you know the KSI, the Korean Language Center, I actually bring it in by me 2 years ago. Yeah, because I know young people want to learn Korean. So the younger generation want to learn Japanese and Korean because of the older generation's emotional connections to Japanese culture. The first government comes from the political party called KMT, Kuomintang, KMT. Just remember the KMT, Kuomintang, KMT. They took over and ruled Taiwan from 1945. Yeah, from 1945. So I have to say, Taiwan is still, compared with Japan, compared with Europe, we have a very short history, as a country. Yeah. Okay, so therefore there's a period KMT rebuilt the country within a greater China ideology. Yeah, because they kind of pull back from China. So in the early days, they still have this ideology. They think one day we'll go back. We'll go back. They still think there may be a war. They can take over China again from Communist Party. But today, we know it's not gonna happen, right? Yeah. So therefore, there's a period of time they rebuild the country with this. So at the same time, when they govern Taiwan, they decentralize this kind of Japanization. They bring in more Chinese, mainland China ideologies and elements. And from the 80s, democracy and social campaigns actually forced marketization and collapsing martial law. So if you remember weeks ago, Korean announced martial law. If you know the news, the Korean president announced martial law. There's a one night really chaotic for Korea. And now the president is not arrested. Yeah. And then the politics in South Korea is not very unstable because the kind of internal affairs running chaotic. And there's a time when KMT, this party, rule Taiwan, they kind of bring in martial law. Means everyone can only speak Mandarin. They can't speak mother tongue. They can't speak Taiwanese language. They want to force, it's kind of very forceful in a way. I remember in my elementary school, if I speak kind of local Taiwanese, I get punished. Even in my younger generation, about before 90s. And then there are increasing flows of foreign products and cultures after the 90s. And martial law finally get released in the 90s as well. And then democracy then kind of start to roll from the 90s. More popular cultural products are imported, mainly from the US and Japan after that. So before the Korean wave, actually the older generation, they are the kind of Japanese wave generation. So we watch a lot of Japanese dramas when I was really young. But nowadays it's all about Korean dramas. Yeah, I watch a lot of Korean dramas myself these days. And is it a cultural invasion? To locals, sometimes they accuse that's the cultural invasion, and there can be different stands about South Korea and Taiwan. That's for your basic information. Yeah. So this is a formula. We say China. We have Chinese blood. We use kind of Japanese system, especially even in the university. If you see our administration kind of flaws, it's very Japanese. So the administration style, the banking system is all very Japanese. Yeah. The kind of politeness as well. Yeah, we say a lot of sorry, excuse me, everyday life. So it's in a way it's also very Japanese. But these days it's more kind of American, more open for younger generation. So the political framework, because of the democratic system, so it's getting very, very free. There's a lot of freedom. Right. So far, it's very similar to the US. Taiwan have two biggest political parties. One is the old KMT, used to govern Taiwan for many, many years. And from 2000, the Democratic Progression Party, DPP, it's more like a pan-independent party. Won the election in about 2000. So they took the presidential role, and then the whole society began to change. So as you can see in 2014 election, the Green, so it's more like the two political parties are now rotating. Yeah, because no one is running well. No one is running Taiwan well. I think it's very similar to the US. It's like you don't choose the best. You choose the one not too bad or not the worst, and give it a trial. So it's now more like a rotating these days. Yeah, but for now, the central government is the DPP. It's the pan-independent party now. So a lot of internal conflicts going on in Taiwan at the moment because in a way, well, people assume KMT is more like the pro-China party, but not actually, not really. But a lot of conflicts going on because of the different political party stance. Yeah. So but as you can see, Taiwan is now facing the big giant, China, there. So to smaller countries, it's very similar to Europe. There's a sense of anxiety, we kind of scared, to face the big dragon in a way. We don't know whether we want to go closer or we want to keep the distance. So a lot of arguments going on in this democratic framework. Yeah. Especially beginning of this year, DPP still won the election. So we still have the kind of pan-independent party, DPP, to central government, yeah? So, and sometimes DPP accuse KMT kind of stuff, China a lot. So there has been general debates about the KMT, the kind of old government. When they kind of migrate to Taiwan, they have this ideology, they want to go back, win the war. But now these days, because of economic pressure, I think they start to establish more collaborations with the Communist Party. So a lot of things going on. So that's for your information. There's a split condition, political condition in China. Yeah. So it's more like a betting, Yeah. So so very chaotic, I have to say. In a way, it's very chaotic. But I don't know, as an outsider, normally what's your impression about Taiwan? As an outsider, when because I know in Southern Asia, a lot of parents, they are worried because they think, oh, there may be a war going on, you know?
We are from Germany, and I think most of our friends and family think we are crazy to come here.
Oh, really?
Because actually Taiwan conflict is like really big in German media,
Right.
and it's for us it's like we always hear about China is threatening to take Taiwan, and so my family really is like thinks I'm crazy for coming here.
Right. Yeah. I've got a lot of parents worried as well. You too? You think? Right. Okay. Yeah. How about you? Think, yeah? Everyone is assuming there's going to be a war because of Hong Kong, you know, the conflict in Hong Kong years ago. But you know, in Taiwan, I think the general people, the threats, I have to say the threat is there always. So it seems like our everyday life we get used to it. So people still go to night markets and we don't feel like anything at all here. You see the people here, they're like, come on, you know, you say, oh, you want a war for many years, but it never happened. Especially every time before the presidential election, there will be a big thing, you know, they will fire some missiles and then just to threaten, you know, to scare, and then but you never know, and then also U.S. plays as a very big role here, especially when Trump on, and then I think the whole thing is very unstable, I have to say. In Taiwan, we say the company TSMC is the protection mountain because the GTB totally relies on TSMC. So we say because as long as TSMC is holding there, I think we're okay. You know, we have the best. But I don't know. And what's your? I don't know. After coming here, what's your impression now? You think, you know, everyone lives peacefully here, and then yeah. So it's more like about the media, right? Yeah. I think the media is doing a lot of big, fake news. I think. But inside Taiwan, there are different voices because it's democratic. So it's all about, you know, freedom of speech, and then you have so many different parties that are voicing out different things. But well, you do have Communist Party penetrate also into the society, just like Russia to the US. It's similar, very similar. So I have to say it can be very tense in a way. Yeah, it can be tense in a way. Yeah, so just for your information. Yeah, this is just for your information. These are the kind of local games. This one is called Detention. Yeah, you can go and find and play. It's very Taiwan. It's a scary kind of game. Reflect the martial law area of Taiwan. You can kind of play it and to experience the kind of pressure. Yeah, just for your information. A lot of games and popular culture kind of products come out because trying to reflect this kind of tension between. This is the kind of picture of the game. Yeah. So we used to wear uniforms in my high schools, even today as well. Yeah, even today. But this kind of uniforms is very military. You know, it's like military uniforms. I went through that period myself, so you can go and find again, and I think it's now for free. Yeah, Chinese. So you can try it. Also, there's a board game is about how Taiwan used to be bombed by other countries. It's about war as well. Yeah. So the living memories of many Taiwanese originates from and are bound together with this kind of tragic history. And the memories are as precious as they are painful. So if you go and find some kind of local Taiwanese drama, it can be very serious. It's all about kind of political controls and everything, and a lot of scenarios are very sad. So normally I don't watch Taiwanese kind of local drama because I think it's too heavy. I prefer to find something more entertaining. Yeah. Okay. So for Taiwanese, sometimes as an observer, I think we like to play like the victims of the kind of political atmosphere. So it's very sad. So these are the games kind of reflect the different period of time as when Taiwanese local people are kind of victims. Yeah. So far, you have any questions? Yeah. As you can see, the DPP and KMT, if you watch the news here, they are basically arguing every day. So they're fighting in the senator house all the time. They basically argue all the time. So sometimes younger generations just got fed up. We have Taiwanese students here. Is it Taiwan? Yeah, we have only one Taiwanese student here. Yeah. Are you sick and tired of politics in Taiwan? You do Taiwan. You think Taiwanese politics is boring, or? I think younger generation kind of get fed up with the politics today. Yeah, politics today, and it's hard to predict what's going to happen. But I have to say, still more than 40% of people supporting the pan-independent DPP, and the KMT is more like in a split condition. The kind of supporters are less than, I'll say, about 20-30%. Yeah.
One should be independent, right? Or is like the KMT?
KMT is pro-China. Well, in general sense, or from DPP's argument, they will keep pushing to say KMT is very pro-China. But I would say it's very case sensitive because I think overall the whole Taiwan is very scared of the big, huge giant there. And but in general, people assume DPP is the pan-independent. The KMT is a bit of pro-China. Yeah, but the national security system is very sensitive today. Even within universities, we got a lot of information, and we have to feedback to national security system sometimes. But we have more students from Asia. Yeah. They want to see, so national security system is quite sensitive than ever. Yeah, I have to say. I have a few friends from national security kind of departments. They contact me all the time because it's kind of international work and business. And then they keep asking this and that. And I was told between Taiwan and China, the two kind of security systems used to, when KMT ruled Taiwan, they used to communicate with each other or exchange information. But I was told, since DPP won the election in 2018, a lot of kind of breach totally disconnect. Yeah, so they say now it's very, I think under the table it's very sensitive. It's very kind of scary, I have to say. Yeah, the worst ever, I have to say, because also it depends on mainland's attitude as well, and President Xi's also very forceful. So this day the politicians are all very tough, are the tough ones. So if you have the tough ones, then it's difficult to negotiate, I have to say. Yeah. Any more questions? Just for your information about the awkward situation about Taiwan. Yeah. I try to remain neutral on this because you have different perspective. We know we've got some students from mainland as well. But from my perspective, it's all about making friends. And also, education shouldn't stop. The kind of education exchanges, that's the basic, information exchange opportunities for younger generations to understand both. But unfortunately, after 2018, also the COVID, I think mainland stopped sending students to Taiwan. Also, Taiwan sending less, I think, to China. We still have some, yeah. So only few exchange opportunity are provided. So I think for the mainland China students, you are the lucky ones. And normally we never know you'll get a visa or not because of the Thai situation, yeah, between mainland and Taiwan, yeah. So, but healthy diplomatic, relationship shouldn't be like this, yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, hopefully, we don't know. Hopefully, you'll get better. But once you stay longer in Taiwan, you probably feel like why everyone is okay. Although, so sometimes you feel like politics, these kind of political games can be quite alienated from the kind of normal people. We still don't feel like anything. It's more like media, more like news, more like making news. Yeah. Okay. Well, any more questions? Yeah.
Has there been any political murders since 1945?
Since 1945, murders. You mean on the kind of presidents or governments?
Political murders in general.
Political murders. Not really. Not really. Or if yes, I don't know. Yeah, you never know that death is, is murder or not, But I have to say, I think mainland's attitude also decides Taiwan's attitude. The thing is, when everyone gets tougher, it's difficult to communicate. Yeah, through communicate. And also, I have to say, it's difficult to communicate these days. It's unhealthy. Unhealthy, yeah, unhealthy. Any more questions? Or maybe different political understanding or stance you can also voice out well. Taiwan is very democratic. It's all about freedom of speech, yeah? Okay. Right. How about Malaysian students? What's your view about kind of Taiwan-China situation? Oh, really? Okay, right. Yeah. We remain neutral is like we won't voice out whether it's two countries or not. But if you talk about the systems, yeah, it can be two countries. We have our own passports, presidents, and everything. But I have to say, I'm a foreign teacher myself. I don't use Taiwanese passport myself, so I don't have a stand to voice out the Taiwanese as well. But yeah, also right, the system can be different. Well, but establishing understandings across cultures is very important, I think, because we are blind by lots of stereotypes and news as well. Just like you say, you mentioned when you come, your friends think you're crazy to come to a place that looks like very dangerous. There can be a war anytime. But I don't know, if mainland's economics going down or gets worse, it can be a war, I think. Yeah, because we know we normally use war to distract the kind of economic or political issues or social issues. So you never know. If mainland's, well, for Taiwan, we don't want a war as well. No one wants a war. No one wants a war, right? No one wants a war. Taiwanese, we don't want a war. How about Vietnam? How about Vietnamese news? They look at Taiwan as...
I realize that a lot of people in Vietnam, they think that Taiwan is part of China, even like my family.
Right.
Yeah, but I told them about these two countries. And then about the news, I don't know, I'm not home, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it's very awkward because the Taiwanese government is not fighting to join this kind of global organizations like WTO or National Union, like that. But Yeah, because of pressure from China, Taiwan cannot do that. So in a way, Taiwan has been put in a very extremely awkward situation. But in a way, the special thing about Taiwan is that we can digest a lot of popular culture. We digest a lot of cultures a lot. If you want to test the kind of Mandarin Chinese market, normally, in early days, I know for popular kind of music or movies, if you want to test, you will be successful or not in kind of Mandarin speaking regions. Taiwan is kind of, can be seen as a hub to do that as well. The consumption energy is very big here. Yeah. So Tom Cruise or some Hollywood normally they want to promote their movies will come to Taiwan for as a first stop, and then if you go to Japanese kind of Japan region, but for Mandarin kind of Chinese region, this is probably the first stop to do so. If you do well in Taiwan, in Malaysia, in kind of Mandarin speaking areas, you can do good as well. Yeah. So it's kind of very cultural, a lot of cultural fusion going on here. Especially, the population here is 23 million, right? 23 million. And now about, I think 1 million is foreigners. So it's about 1 in 20 people coming from outside. And you get better, even better. Even in our universities, we have 10,000 students now. We have reached, except exchange students, we have reached about 10,000 degree-seeking students. So we are predicting in 3 years' time, it's going to be the bottom of our global 3 in Taiwan. There can be 5,000 or 6,000 local students, but maybe 2,000 international students. It will be 1 in 4. In our university will be foreign, international students. Yeah, and then more exchange students to join us like you. Very international. Yeah. So any more questions? Any more questions? No? Anything you want to know about Taiwan? Yeah?
Was Taiwan a part of the Second World War?
Yeah, actually KMT was the party joined the Second World War and won the war. But it's after that, KMT lose the internal fight against Communist Party. So they pull out from mainland. Yeah. So it's very awkward when the time the president kind of decide to quit the National Union Committee. So we want to rejoin. We say we want to rejoin these days, but there's no way because you have mainland's pressure, and every time if you look at the press party, they just keep saying it's all internal affair. So the media, the foreign media have no way to to interfere our business. So kind of awkward. But KMT was the party, but the thing is, once you have this KMT party run for so long, it can be quite bureaucratic, So they have older generation pass to new generation's problem. Now the kind of middle age party is more like the DPP, and the younger generation for like university students these days they support the white. There's a new party, the white. It's about 3%, 4%. Yeah, the white, but the white is facing crisis these days because the main holder is now in prison. Yeah, he used to be the mayor in Taipei, and then a lot of things has been kind of dig out, and yeah, so he had a lot of problems. So we were predicting the white can collapse very soon. Yeah, yeah. Because it's only 3 or 4%. But the thing is, the younger generation, they don't want to be green, they don't want to be blue, and the only choice is white, so they go to white. So.
How long is the elected government staying in Taiwan? For 1 hour?
4 years. 4 years. But this time, the beginning of last year, I think it's been 1 year, is the continuous for DPP. So it's 4 years and then after 4 years now, yeah. But I don't know, everyone is predicting in 4 years time, maybe there will change. Yeah, because the council kind of cut all the budgets for the central, because now KMT have more seats in the council. So they kind of cut the central budgets last few months. So there has been a big arguments about you're cutting the central budget so the government cannot function. Therefore, in 4 years time, you have the excuse to say it's time to change. So now there have been a lot of things going on in Taiwan, yeah. And a lot of people, they bring out the conspiracy saying the KMT was funded by Communist Party, so a lot of maybe fake news going on, you don't know, yeah. Okay? Yeah.
And inside of Taiwan, do the Taiwanese speak and argue about it very much, or is it even that you would get in conflict? When, for example, one Taiwanese person would be for the DPP and the one for the KMT.
Yeah.
Can they be friends, or is this a really strong arguing thing?
For example, my relatives, they like to gather together but argue. They still can get along. But we normally say, for example, if you take taxi, the yellow taxi in Taiwan, in Taipei especially, from local people's perspective, if you listen to the radio of the driver lessons, you can know directly which parties he supports. Yeah, normally. So sometimes my parents, they're very DPP, they're very green. When they get on the taxi, when they listen to the radio directly, they sense the driver is supposed to KMT, the whole trip is going to be very quiet. I took the taxi with my parents sometimes, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I don't want to engage myself too much into this, because it's life. I don't want politics to kind of influence my life too much. But if you go to Taipei, you can sense the split condition very clearly. But last week, if you remember, we say Taipei is the kind of dragon city. It's very ironic because outside Taipei, a lot of people actually, if you look at the map, they actually support independent. So they say, well, if you stay in Taipei, it's more like the KMT. Used to be the elites people stay in Taipei. And then they can't speak Taiwanese local kind of mother tongue language. And they stay in kind of particular regions, districts, and then live in the kind of posh buildings. So that's why it's a very ironic saying, it's the kind of dragon city of Taipei, and also Dragon District. I was actually raised up in the Dragon City, Dragon District myself. I went to a very kind of posh, I wouldn't say posh, but very good top elementary school, junior high schools they call it Da'an. If you go to Da'an District in Taipei, it's the most kind of KMT region, I would say. Yeah, the people there always vote for the KMT. They vote for the party, not vote for the people, sometimes. But you can sense the kind of political split concern. It's very similar to the US. Very similar, very similar. The way we play politics is very similar, yeah. So sometimes you can ask your friends, Taiwanese friends, if you get to know them, saying, hey, which one do you support? You think, yeah, they're happy to voice out, they're always happy to voice out. Yeah. For my generation, I'm more like a middle-aged generation. I'm very curious how young people actually think about this, because in post-capitalist countries, normally, we all kind of come from post-capitalist countries. The younger generation gets tired of this kind of politics, so they don't care about them anymore, So I think it happens in Taiwan at the moment. But the voting rate is still very high. It's about 70 to 80%. They still push it a lot, yeah. Okay? Right, any more questions? If not, let's take a 10 minutes break and we can kind of discuss your experience in Taiwan so far. Yeah.
Anyone wasn't here last week, copy the slide this paper, please.
Oh, it's okay.
I don't know why.
不好意思，他那个有问题了，会送先换一台，对他就是他切换器好像用久了，电子元件就不好。因为今天早上给我他会闪，因为有老师在闪，所以我们会换
I didn't see it. Yes. Yeah. No, I think no, it didn't do it. The Mr. Bispo Jim I don't know.
Poland, goodbye, right? Goodbye, Poland, goodbye. You get white. I started the best of English. Shitting district, Poland gets wiped away.
I was like, you're talking about India?
About India.
We are
Yeah. If you ask me, no, we are applying to Poland. Oh, we're coming back on Monday, and then the weekend. Then we have a huge shoot. It's like a little island. Yeah. Yeah, we have a concept. We're going in Switzerland. Yes.
没有，这堂课不是担心你讲话。
不要害怕，老师你不要乱讲话，我还要回家。
没事，一堂但是其他的基本上都好，OK。太笑了。你们两位吗？Okay, since you come back, we'll do the grouping now because that's the main task for today. I was told by Kelly. So the idea is we have one kind of Mandarin-speaking Chinese member in each group. So we have 3 here, they can speak Mandarin, and we have 2 there can speak Mandarin. So you can. Yeah. All right. So 1, 2, 3. We have 6. 6. So use. Yeah. Let's do the grouping. Yeah. I'll leave it to you to.
Please write your name first.
Okay. And also another rule is we have not from in each group prefer not to have the same countries. Yeah. Right. So split. So split. Yeah. You're from where are you from? France. I just came back from Toulouse 2 months ago. Yeah, I went to Toulouse for a conference. Yeah, very nice city. It's amazing. Amazing. So yeah. Perfect.
Do you play both?
Yeah, voters. Like way before I came. Like, okay, not way before I came. Before I came.
My parents live really far away where I live, so I couldn't.
Okay, so they go like
That's why the letter was sent like to where I live, but I was like here in Germany, 8 hours away, so.
I voted.
So they voted the way you wanted, or
So you can't vote for someone else.
okay, even if it's by post?
Later.
You can technically get a fine for it. It's, they realize this, so.
But I voted that one. Why are you laughing?
I would ask for
I voted
So maybe you can start looking for
Liberal Party.
if you want to.
I used to vote for them too, but now I'm like a socialist liberal party. It's like very pan-European. And they actually have a party in like every European country. And they want to focus on working on the Europe thing, you know?
No.
It's called Volt.
it's
Pretty new, it's pretty new.
Yeah, let's spend these few minutes to put you in the right mood first. Yeah.
In the last European election, they got very much like I think 7.6 or something.
I think the European elections are better for the smaller countries because their voters are like more engaged.
We still have to wait like to see what coalitions like the found and how. So we'll see what's
There
happening.
aren't many options.
I think
But I see from exit polls, it says CDU, SPD, I think FDP has a majority.
yeah, but FDP is like not within this 5%, so they are not be
Unfortunately.
Okay, so let's choose the first 6 Mandarin speaking ones, and then we'll go around to split them into different groups. Yeah. And it will force you to communicate more in English and to get to know each other better. So, that's the main purpose.
So every group we're gonna have 3 people. Okay, each group have 3 people. We now have one group that complete with a group mate, and then we have 5 more group. So guys, maybe you wanna start looking for your teammate right now?
Can we mix the groups? Like,
You can mix the group by yourself. Probably the Mandarin speaking ones here. Yeah, we have. Can you stand up maybe? Yeah, the Mandarin speaking ones each. Yeah. Okay. So we've got 6 here, and then you can kind of blend around and see which teammates. But if you two are from the same country, then you have to choose. One of you have to go to another. Yeah. Another. Yeah. Okay.
I would say, yeah, go ahead. Up to 3.
Don't be shy, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Super shy, super shy. Okay. No?
Alien then should form like another group and then Chinese one. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Who should we go? Who wants to be our Chinese? Nobody wants to be with me. Very good. So what are you guys doing?
So you need one Mandarin.
Mandarin.
One Mandarin. In each group at least. Right?
Who wants to be our Mandarin speaker?
oh, so many.
Don't be so shy, man. Can you? Let's go.
Okay.
First group.
So we've got Malaysian, and Germany, and also France. Okay, cool. The first team is formed. Yay.
Oh,
We need one more, right?
One more Mandarin. Don't be shy, don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Don't be shy, don't be shy.
You?
Okay. Okay. Second team is formed. Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah. So, you two gonna be one group? So we need one more person?
One more?
One group? Okay.
Cool. Third team is formed.
I don't remember my change.
Do English. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. How about you? You've Mandarin already. So you're all from different countries. Also, your team is one, I think. Because I think you're one, right? You're Mandarin speaking. Are you? I think you are counted as Mandarin speaking. I think their team is formed as well because they're from 3 different. And she's counted as a Mandarin. Yeah, and then she's counted as a Mandarin speaking as well. Yeah, so team 4 is formed. Yeah. So team 5 and team 6. We've got 2 here, one from Hong Kong, one is local Taiwan. Okay, looks perfect. I was given the task by Kelly, so go blame Kelly for this. Okay, done. Let's see if tomorrow, because the season is open for tomorrow, this week as well. So there can be more Mandarin speaking journalists. Then we will split them into different groups. Yeah. This week, Friday, is we call it 228 holiday. The 228, the reason we have this 228 holiday, February 28th, let me quickly explain as well, is because when the KMT, when they first arrived Taiwan, and then they bring the martial law, they actually persecuted a lot of local people. So it's more like a Memorial Day or this kind of tragic day. That's why it became a holiday. After, I think that's after DPP ruled the country, and they make it a holiday. I think Memorial Day. So that's why we have this 228 holiday on Friday. Yeah. You planning to go anywhere? Yeah, where are you planning to go? Philippines. Oh, the closest country from Taiwan, like 2 hours or something. Yeah. 1 hour. Oh, Philippines. Wow. I was told the South Sea conflict is now very big between mainland and the Philippines. I think. Yeah. So a lot of businessmen are forced out from the Philippines. Yeah. The world politics is very interesting.
We're going to Seoul on Wednesday, and we can visit the university.
Oh,
From Wednesday to Monday.
from Wednesday to Monday. Ah, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. Ah, wow. Okay, so you go together?
No.
No, okay.
No, we're going.
Very good. Okay. Ah, right. I see. Wow. Yeah, I mean, Taiwan going everywhere is very convenient. I'm going to Japan myself, to Okinawa, but for work, for business, trip. But I hate it. I have to fly. They say in average, every dean in the universities have to, in my position, have to fly about 20 times per year. Yeah, everywhere. So you won't see me often. You won't see me often. Especially with low birth rate, this crisis hitting very hard in Taiwan. Private universities like Providence is now working very hard in recruiting students, foreign students. So we have, I think in the campus we now reach 400 Vietnamese students, a lot of Vietnamese students, 100 Japanese students, I think, 100 Indonesian students. Yeah, so a lot. Yeah, so including Chinese learning students, exchange students, and foreign students, we're reaching about 1,500. And our goal is to go for 2,000, hopefully 3,000. For now, I'm working very hard on this. Okay, done with the grouping, and the task is done. Let's call it a day and enjoy your holidays. I'm gonna stop here, so it's just a warming up week. So I think next week our members in this class will be settled because the kind of course selection week is still this week. So we're still waiting for more seats to come. Yeah, so let's call it a day. So hopefully you enjoy your 2-day holiday. Meanwhile, you can have a look online in details about these holidays and what happened. Yeah. They make this holiday a lot of drama as well. They make a lot of dramas about this holiday, and everything. So, cool. Okay, so let's go a day. Yeah.
Is it only Friday or